everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio. Today I'm sharing with you two prompts. I decided to combine them to try to catch up because I feel like I'm a little bit behind on all the prompts for Abstract August. And since it is my challenge that I made up, I better keep up. So I decided to combine wave and triangle together on one art journal page. So I picked an art journal page out of a journal that I'm trying to finish that has gel printed with stencils, mostly pages. These are made out of junk, of like cards that come in the mail with advertisements or political messages on them. And I just gel printed them all and then made them into a journal a couple years ago. And it's just got, maybe 4-6 pages left. So I have two journals that I'm working on that I'm trying to finish with the same type of situation. I just want to get all the pages done so that I can put them up on the shelf as finished. So I started with the prompt wave, and I picked out some lightweight papers from my stash. I have so much painted paper, you would not even imagine. Just buckets and buckets and buckets full. And so I just wanted to put some waves on this paper. It's already kind of blue in the background, but I thought it would be cool to lighten up that background a little bit. So before I started the collage, I took some light blue paint. This is sky blue from Amsterdam with some satin glazing medium, which is like a clear acrylic paint, no pigment in it. And I mix those two together. It makes paint more translucent. And these lighter colors, I assume, since they are tints, would be a full color that's been mixed with titanium white to make it lighter. And titanium white's an opaque color, very opaque. So if you mix it with the glazing medium, then it makes it more translucent. So I was able to brayer over the top of this page and just kind of push back the patterns that were there. I like patterns, but you still have to have some things in the foreground and some things in the background, even when you're making something abstract, which this one is expressionism. It's not abstract completely because it will end up with things that look like things. So in this case, I'm using these different pieces to make waves, and I'm just using scissors to cut them in wavy lines, trying to make each side a little bit different from the other. And they just then I ended up, like, I did have very straight ends on them, and I thought, well, that's not going to look right. So I continued the curve all the way to down to the other curve, so that I ended up with like a point at the end, sort of like maybe a wave would end in a point. I'm not sure about that, but I've been thinking about traveling, been thinking about getting out of my house as soon as this pandemic is over and maybe going to visit maybe my son in Santa Cruz. There's waves there. I know we're all feeling it. We just want to get out, 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 out. So, of course, I want to have darks and lights because when the light hits waves, it makes a shimmery, shiny light highlight. And so I'm using different papers, and these are ones that I've made previously. I didn't make them just specifically for this project. I just found them in my stash. But they're all probably gel printed. Some of them, at least one of them, is tissue paper, and others are like text weight paper from the printer that I use sometimes to gel print, and they've got stencil designs on them. A couple of them must have been left from my typography project that I did for Stencil Girl, because I recognize those prints of the letters, that one Alpha Jumble stencil from Stencil Girl that makes interesting prints. I could see two of them up on the left-hand side that are definitely from that. When you start gel printing, even if it's for a specific project, you still end up making way more pieces than you could possibly use in the project. Like, I'll just make one more. I'll just make one more. Because that's how gel printing is. You just don't want to stop. And so you end up with lots of extras, and that's what I have, is lots of extras from lots of projects that I've done, plus just gel printing days where I've just sat and gel printed just for fun because it's so fun. So these are my waves for the prompt wave. It would have looked really cool to just continue this process and make a really abstracted version of this. Maybe start putting some vertically, and then I don't know, something you I could have made something very interesting with these little bits, but I decided that I wanted to add the other prompt triangle. And I was thinking about triangles, and I was thinking about you can there are so many things that when you go out and you look at stuff, it's usually either made of lines or circles or ovals or triangles or squares. Things are made out of shapes. And if you look at it that way, it becomes really easy to do illustration because you can make maybe caricatures of things out of shapes. And I thought, well, since I've got waves, I could make a sailboat out of triangles because sailboats definitely are made out of triangles. They have triangular sails for one thing. They've usually got a flag on the top. That's usually a triangle. They even the boat shape underneath is kind of a triangle, an elongated triangle. So that's what I decided to do with my triangle is make a boat. So I had some other pieces of paper laying around that have paint on them, and I just started to make sails and a boat. Um, I like primary colors together, so I picked yellow for the sail, red for the boat. I've already got blue, and then I saw this kind of fun grungy print that had those bright colors on it, plus a lot of white, and so I made one of the sails out of that. And um, this looks very childish, like an illustration from a children's book, but you know what? That's what I was going for, so I achieved it. Lots of times, illustrations in children's books are very simplistic, like this, colorful and simplistic, and that's was my plan. So I've got my boat for my waves. I glue that down with my glue stick. This is a Yoo-hoo glue stick. It starts out blue and it dries clear. And I've just really been enjoying. I bought a 12 pack of these because it's so much easier in your small projects that are not intended to be fine art on the wall to be able to use a glue stick. And I use a baby wipe as I'm going and use it to kind of I can just really sloppily slap on the glue with the stick and then put the piece down and go over the top of it with the um, baby wipe, and it wipes away the excess glue. It presses down the thing. I haven't been getting any bubbles. The most problems I've ever had with a type of paper is magazine pages, and I used the glue stick on that yesterday, and it worked great. So I think this is a good choice. So thank you for the person that inspired me to do that. I'm happy with it. Now, if I was making something for the wall or something that might be handled a lot, like covering a box or something, or the outside of a journal, I would use matte medium like I always do to collage. I wouldn't use the glue stick. This is only for art journal pages, tags, ATCs, stuff like that, because it's quick and easy, and you can continue being creative without fear of it going wrong and peeling up and being annoying. So I wanted some clouds in the sky, and guess what? I think clouds can be made out of triangles. Why not? Clouds can be any shape, right? I saw a dragon the other day. It was a cloud, but it looked like a dragon. Maybe it really was a dragon. Maybe it was a cloud dragon, and it was spying on me from the fairy world. I don't know, but it looked like a dragon. I see lots of things in the clouds. That's a fun thing to do. I see things in the walls too. We have textured walls with like orange peel texture or something. And if I look at the wall long enough, I start to see shapes. I know there's a name for that. There's a technical name for that, but I can't remember right now what it is because it's one of those fancy schmancy technical medical terms. Now, I didn't think the sun could be made out of a triangle, although as I thought about it, the rays of the sun could have been made out of triangles if I hadn't already put the the white ones on there, and that would have been cool. Uh, that would be something I would do is make, you know, like a kid makes triangles for the rays of their cute little drawing. I also thought about making a bird because you could make two small triangles and then put them at kind of an angle with each other with the tips together, and it would make a pretty fair bird silhouette out into the sky, like maybe seagulls or something. Thought about that, didn't end up doing it, but I did decide after I got enough triangular shaped clouds from the excess paper from these gel prints. You know, when you use like a 6x6 gel plate on a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, you end up either overlapping half an inch or an inch of your prints if you do two, or if you just do one, you end up with a big piece of paper left. It's kind of annoying. I did decide that my sailboat needed a flag, so I put that on. It's another triangle. You see how I'm just slapping the glue on, and then I just press down and wipe away with the baby wipe. The baby wipe's not super wet. It's a little bit dry from sitting on my desk, and that just works great. There's no excess glue. Everything's pressed down. It's glued down well. So I did decide to make a dolphin because dolphin's my totem animal, and I really love them. And I thought I could make a dolphin out of triangles. It would work. And maybe it looks more like some other type of fish than a dolphin after I look at it for a while. It's kind of not shaped exactly right, but it's made out of triangles, so what do you expect? That's how it goes right now. So I hope you're enjoying this series of abstract and abstract expressionism art that's going on, brought to you by Art Joy of Sharing Art Community on Facebook. There's a prompt list. You can certainly still join. It's not too late. You can use one prompt. You can use all the prompts on one piece if you want to. You can do daily art like I am doing. Come join us. Also, if you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you have a comment or a question, I love to see those, and I'll answer you within 24 hours probably. And you can share this on Pinterest. You can post it to Facebook if you think it's cute enough. All those things help my channel grow by you recommending and recognizing my content as being something that's valuable, and then YouTube says, oh, hey, maybe I should recommend that to someone else who might be interested in it based on me tracking their information. So yeah, that's awesome. So my dolphin's just about done. I'm starting shading. These are Faber-Castell Pitt artist pins. I have a package that's got, I think, 60 or something of them in there with all different colors. I'm using a water brush with them because I can blend out really quickly with a water brush. This whole background is sealed with paint and with, everything has been on there. So it's easy to blend this. It doesn't soak right into the paper like it would on a plain paper. And I can quickly blend it with a water brush or water tank brush, a brush that has water inside of it. So I use some yellow, I use some light blue, and then trying to decide what to do with the waves and with the boat. I decided I would darken the edges of the boat, especially around the top. And I eventually put a white stripe on there too because boats seem to have like a stripe around them often, like a racing stripe, I guess. But I was just using a dark red to darken the edges and make it look more substantial there in the waves, make it stand out from the background. Did the same thing with the yellow sail, just made some darker yellow around the edges. Just make it stand out more. And some more of that light blue. I will often shade white with light blue because white isn't really just white. It's shades of light, basically. And a light blue or a light gray is a good choice for shading it. I did put some darker pen along the top of the waves, but then I just really didn't like it, so I kind of just wiped it off. Didn't look right. Yeah, gonna work on the dolphin. I've got some teal colored pen trying to work on the dolphin a little bit to make him stand out. He's very the same color as the waves in the background, so I probably should have picked a lighter piece of paper to make him out of. And of course he needs an eyeball and maybe a little mouth and maybe some illustration lines around him just to make him stand out a bit more since he is really blendy. And I got out my black Posca pen for that, and then my white Posca pen to just make some sketchy lines around a few things. I ended up making a few little lines through the waves, around the boat a little bit, even around the sun, and just kind of like a highlight, a sketchy highlight. I like to do this. Something I do often. Sometimes you can smear it like I just did. It's kind of like a blending with your finger. I thought some splatters were in order too. I think splatters are good. And when the ocean is coming back and forth and rolling in and out, it does splash and make little splatters. So I thought that was appropriate. So that is my, waves and triangle prompts for hashtag AJOS Abstract August, which is what you can use if you post your art on social media. That's it for me, and here comes the close-ups. Thanks. Bye-bye.